I know year 6, it's Friday, the last day of the week. I hope you've had a good week and you enjoyed the learning that Mr. Jobber and I have helped you with. If you haven't sent any learning in yet, please do, as we'd love to see on the year 6 email account. So hopefully you've all finished the investigation yesterday and you've also finished your write-up. If you haven't, you can either choose to finish that off today first and then watch this lesson, or you can just move straight into this lesson. We'll leave that up to you to decide. Today is a day where you're going to have some choice. You're going to repeat the paper helicopter experiment that we've already done, but you're going to get to adapt it and improve it and make it a bit more personal and use your creativity today. So, your first choice. If your experiment didn't go to plan for whatever reason, maybe your helicopter didn't spin when you dropped it, maybe you didn't drop it from the same place every time, maybe it ripped and that made your experiment not work out as well as it could have, or anything really. If that was the case, today you can choose to use today's lesson just to repeat the exact same experiment, do the exact same thing that we've done already from Monday to Thursday, and do it again and see if you can get better results, or sorry, not better, more accurate results, and a better conclusion. So that's your first choice. Your second choice, so if you've done the experiment this week, you felt it went well, there's not many improvements you can make to how you did it, your second choice is that you can choose to have a different independent variable. So that means that you can choose one thing to change, something different to change. So when we did it this week already, we all changed the length of the wingspan. Today, you can keep the length of the wingspan the same for every single time you drop the helicopter, and you can change something different on your helicopter. So for example, these are all examples, you could choose something different if you'd like to. Perhaps you could change the weight of your paper helicopter. So you could add a paper clip to the bottom of the helicopter each time, and first time drop with no paper clips, second time drop with 1, third time drop with 2, and see how that changes the length of time it takes to hit the ground. If you don't have paper clips at home, you could potentially maybe stick some blue tack on it each time, or you could scrunch up some little piece of paper into a ball and sellotape that onto each time. But if you're going to do that, please make sure that the size of the blue tack or the size of the scrunched up paper is as similar as possible each time you stick a new one on, so that it's a fair test. So you could change the weight of it. If you don't want to change the weight of it, you could change the material that your helicopter is made from. So you could make 5 different helicopters, or more or less, whatever way you want to do it. And each time you make a helicopter, use a different material. So for example, you could make one helicopter from paper, you could make one helicopter from card in your house, maybe a cereal box, or if you have paper card, make one from tin foil, make one from a plastic bag, see if that works, or make one from baking paper, kind of whatever you have around your house that would be possible to make one with. You could do that, but before you go looking in your cupboards and your kitchen and things like that, please check with your parents that you're allowed to take that material, and then you could drop all the 5 different helicopters at different times and see which material made your helicopter stay in the air the longest. And the final idea that I had to change this variable was you could change the size of the whole helicopter. So you could make 5 different helicopters all from paper, and you can have one really big helicopter and then one that's a bit smaller, until you've got 5 different sized helicopters, but they need to all be made from the same material, and try to keep them in the same proportion. So on your large one, make sure that the wings are in the same proportion to the main part of the helicopter as it is in the smaller helicopters as well. So they're the 3 things that I suggested you could change. Today you can choose what you want to do. So either repeat the experiment we've done this week and adapt it slightly and make it a bit better, or else you could change the one independent variable and see how that impacts or that affects the helicopter and the length of time it takes to fall. I'll give you some examples of what you could do. You could do them, you don't have to do them, it's completely up to you. One thing that I would ask you to do is, when you finished it, is to email us in pictures or videos of you completing the experiment. We'd love to see that. Or if you want to really challenge yourself, I would encourage you to use the skills we learned earlier in the week about writing up an investigation, and I'd ask you to write up this investigation and in the same way we did earlier in the week, and then email that to the Year 6 account. Now that will take a lot of time, so it's up to you whether you want to do that or not, but that would be something I would say if you really want to challenge yourself with this science learning to do that. That's all there is for this video, so have a lovely weekend, Year 6. Hopefully you enjoyed today's lesson. If you make mistakes or things don't go right, that's perfect. That's what's meant to happen in science. We're meant to make mistakes, and we can learn from them. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Goodbye.